Hey guys, welcome back to Fitness TV with Fine for People. It is a little bit delayed today, so sorry about that, but hey, we're getting right into it. Today we're talking with Liam from down in Abu Dhabi, who's been doing a lot as far as information and helping the industry learn, develop, and understand what's going on. We're also going to talk about the latest in sports. We talk about a little bit about Messi in football. We talk about the Tour de France and what's going on there, because there's already been a couple of breaches, and we'll also talk about the NBA just briefly about what happened there. It's back on, so let's talk about that straight after this. Woohoo! Hey guys and girls, welcome back to Fitness TV with Fine Fit People. Thank you very much for joining us, whether you join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you are here locally in the UAE or around the world. It's awesome to have you with us. Chuck your comments, your questions, your thoughts, share along as we go through today's show. Let's get straight into it. We're going to jump into the sports side of things, and we're going to do this in a nice little way where usually it's me talking about it, but we don't want it's me talking about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our guest who's going to join us through the entire show pretty much. His name's Liam O'Hagan. He's, mate, I'll actually just let you introduce. There he is. He's in our nice new little studio up in the top. Oh, I'm in the wrong direction.
There you go.
Us. Mate, it's awesome to have you on board and join us today. Just quickly before we get into the whole sports side of things, give him a quick bit of background about yourself.
Cool. So, personal trainer for about, God knows how long now, 7 years, something like that. Also sports therapist. Also, I delve into the marketing side of fitness. So I also work with Empiric Fitness. So basically, if you see their social media, everything you see typed on there is me. So I help them with that. Yeah, basically, I'm basically a writer these days with a little bit of fitness. So
perfect. All right, we're going to get further into what you do and other bits of to go with health and fitness here locally. First of all, I want to talk about a few different things. Now, we talked about off air before we jumped on. We talked about you used to play basketball, you used to be involved with basketball, so you know a little bit about basketball. Yep.
Yeah, well, I used to watch it a little bit, not play. I tried to play. I'm too short, not good.
I understand, mate. I understand. Okay, we'll quickly dive into the whole NBA. You heard on the news, you saw that it was the couple of games had been cancelled. The players walked out because of what's happening over in America currently at the moment, and now we did hear that they're going to play and resume the games again. Just kind of quickly, your thoughts on that one from a basketballer's perspective.
It's definitely interesting. It's more than just basketball that the whole thing is going off for. So
yeah,
it was definitely a big one when Milwaukee, which are arguably one of the best team right now, they were the ones who kind of kicked it off, right? So it sends a bit of a statement that when they did decide to boycott, strike, whatever you want to call it, big call. So interesting to see that they other teams followed suit, but I think it's a bit bigger than just basketball. So
yeah, massively.
They're trying to send a message. Yeah, well, especially when you look at most of the last statistic I saw is like 80% of the NBA players are black. So yeah, it's a good platform for them to send the message that they want. So
I think that's probably one. If anything, when you look at it, it's just a good way for the players or the organisations to just play their part, I suppose, as well. Being influencers with sports a massive influence. However you look at it, whether it be from your team or an individual or an organisation or a sport as itself, it can have a big say or can at least create greater awareness about what's going on. So I thought from that perspective, I thought it's amazing. I mean, I did hear about myself personally that there was about the meetings that went on, and there was both sides of the coin have been thrown in across the table and across the room, I suppose you could say. And then it's just saying, at the end of the day, they still need to play on with sports if they wanted to. But again, they were saying, look, you don't need to if you don't want to, because again, sports is great. It's a great way to platform to a launch, but it's not the be all and end all, So
yeah, definitely. There's some issues that are like beyond the sport. So, and like you said, they've got massive influence. So why not make take advantage of that influence.
100%. All right, so if you guys have any thoughts, comments, out there, just chuck it in the comment section. Let's get involved. Let's hear what your thoughts are. Let's move on to, I don't know how much you know about the Tour de France. I always like to say it like that, Tour de France. Hey, well, do you know how to ride a bike? Let's start with that.
I know how to do that. It's been a while, but I still remember.
Perfect, mate. So what happened with the Tour de France is that it's obviously kicking off this weekend, and along with that also is all the teams have been in their own bio bubbles for the Tour de France. The organisers have put together a very, very complex and detailed plan to ensure as much as possible that the Tour de France can go ahead. Now, what's been happening in France with COVID-19 is the numbers of cases have gone up, and especially in certain areas, and also including the starting stages around Nice in France. 2 people involved in one of the teams have actually, one came back positive test, the other one came back with suspicious readings, and so from that what they're doing is those 2 have been now sent home, but it does put an alert or raise an alarm for the Tour de France going ahead. Now, Liam, you don't have to worry about cycling, mate. You don't have to think about this side, but from your perspective, we're talking about sports, COVID-19 obviously having an effect. What do you think could be some of the things that they should be really looking out for, or just go ahead with the Tour de France? What kind of your thoughts would that be?
Well, it depends. Like, where did they get you said that they tested positive for COVID, right?
Yeah, one of them did, yeah.
So if they're meant to be in a social bubble, where did they get that from? That would be...
Good question.
Huh?
A good question. I mean, literally, I think it's like one of those things like when you're in a bubble, and they've done it with. It's easier with basketball, I imagine. You know, you're in the same space, you play in these same stadiums. There's no one's allowed in, no one's allowed out. With cycling, there's a lot of movement around the spaces and places. I suppose it's a little bit harder to keep people in a bubble. Good question.
Yeah, that's true. Because I can imagine if you're cycling around, then obviously there's more movement, more chances for that to happen.
Yeah.
But then is it a question of, if you can't contain it, then was it really worthwhile restarting the sport? I don't know. That's
probably one of the biggest questions, right? Let's go ahead with it. How important? I mean, Tour de France being one of the oldest sports around. It's 110th edition, 117 years it's been going for. And in France, you know, there is a lot of cases happening over in France as well. So it's kind of that thing again, right? The whole, how much do we allow COVID to stop sports events going ahead, and that kind of thing. So, you know, it's a juggling act, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I can see from football, especially, I've seen a few players have tested positive.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, it is that thing of, do you just stop it completely, or do you find at least some sort of balance? So yeah, possibly.
Yeah, 100%. Guys, girls, what do you think? Should the Tour de France go ahead? Is everyone being overprotective, overcautious? Is it something maybe we just need to get used to as we go forward and look to develop things as the future and as things progress and as we learn more about COVID-19? Let us know. Stick with kind of that theme of COVID-19. We're going to actually move into cricket, and more locally based here. I don't know if you know, Liam, but the IPL will now be based here in the UAE for its first full season.
Yes.
Yes. So the IPL has been based here. It's going to happen in Sharjah, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi in the 3 stadiums in the country. And there's 2 teams here that have just started training. Is it Kings 11 Punjab have just started training. Since they've done their 6 days of isolation, that's here in Dubai, but there are teams down in Abu Dhabi who need to still do a few more days in their isolation to meet the requirements before they're allowed to start training. Same thing again, I suppose, Liam, like, more let's put it in a general space, because COVID-19 and sports, like, what do you think? How do you think sports affects the mentality of the public?
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Like, it definitely makes a big difference to the public, I think. Yeah. So, like, for example, from my own perspective, when the football got paused because of COVID-19, especially when you're indoors all day, it does become a bit mind-numbing, and football is, like, for me, that personal mental break. So I can just sit there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I can just kind of concentrate on that, and nothing else in life matters for that time. So it does make a big difference. So that's where I can see, okay, there is still a lot of COVID cases going on. Obviously, it's reduced in some parts of the world,
Yeah.
So then if you can kind of give a bit of a morale boost and do the sport safely, then I think it makes a big difference.
Massively, totally. Actually, there's some really telling statistics as well. I mean, obviously, like here in the UAE, I was doing some calculations today, and I found out that actually it's only less than 0.5% of cases have led to mortality. So I mean, like as horrible as that still is, you still need to be able to move forward. There's still the economy to think about too. You want to think about people's jobs and stuff like that. And you're right. And when you said concentrating on sport or concentrating on the football, you probably mean yelling and screaming and abusing.
Yeah.
Pretty
much.
They break away for what sports does. Let's bring it to football. I mean, for with you and what you're going through, because the season is now pretty much has come to the end because of COVID-19. There's their break. They had to resume, and now they've finished. And most of it's finished. But now there's that short turnaround before it starts again. What are your thoughts on that short turnaround? Should it be delayed? Should it be waiting? Should things still go ahead, or should they, from your opinions and thoughts?
Well, the way that you can look at it is like, so what basically happened, I can tell you from my team's perspective, Liverpool. So what they did is, fortunately for them, they had obviously almost finished, all but confirmed the title before the break happened. Then what they did is they treated after the 2-3 month break and they got back into the games, they kind of treated the rest of the season as kind of like a pre-season anyway. So I think when you look at the professional teams, especially the higher up levels, they've got the kind of team around them to kind of deal with that issue. It's not ideal, but I don't see why it would be such a problem, because also I have been in that kind of space before in the professional world. So it's not like it will be challenging, but I don't think it's anything that they can't deal with.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too soon, especially because they had that 2-3 month break, and then they've treated the other games that they restart as kind of a build up to the next season.
Totally. Cool. Maybe I've got to ask you then about the Champions League final. Did it go the way you thought?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Bayern Munich all the way.
You saw that in the way.
So they've been dominant the whole tournament, so I couldn't see anyone else winning it in that final.
Totally.
PSG, they're okay. They're good, but then they need some more experience in the Champions League.
Yeah, massively, 100%. I'm sure that'll come. I mean, when you make it to the final, that definitely helps boost the experience when you're going forward, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Look at, again, Liverpool. 1 year, 2018, they were in the final. They lost to Madrid. Then the next year, they were in the final. They won it against Spurs.
Boom, there you go. So maybe next year, but I'm sure you'll be going for Liverpool, of course. But,
of course.
Of course, 100%. But unlike the PSG. Oh, I'll do better, guys. As we move on, we're going to move on, guys. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to talk about fitness in the UAE and health in the UAE and kind of things that are going on and what you can do to be more cautious about yourself, or what you can do to be more out there as far as making sure you're doing the right things. Hey guys, welcome back to Fitness TV with Fine Fit People. Thanks for joining us today. We're joined by Liam O'Hagan. He's down in Abu Dhabi. He's been a personal trainer for the last 7 years. He's done a lot of marketing and helping assist a lot of... actually, we had him on a summit one day and we had him talking about what they can do as a personal trainers to improve their turnover or to improve their conversion of taking their followers into clients. And we're going to talk about that right now, actually, because that's a big thing with the current pandemic that's going on. A lot of trainers are out there trying to reinvent themselves, create new ways, be creative in different ways. And Liam's done it himself, where we had a conversation off air, mate. We talked about the last 6-7 months, which feels like 20 years, since it's all begun. As you actually haven't done any face-to-face clients. Just let people know what you've been doing, mate, on that side of things.
Yeah, so basically once the lockdown was kind of confirmed by the government, I just stopped doing any in-person training sessions. And I've not done any since. I've kind of thought about going back, but I've not. I don't think it's right for me yet to do that. So basically I've just been training people online and keeping that the main sole focus for now.
Yeah. What's the main things you've had to adapt or adjust yourself to to go from face to face to online?
So basically, I've already been working part-time online anyway, and through most of my clients, I was using an app called Trainerize with them throughout. So for me, it wasn't so difficult to make that transition. But basically what I did was just kind of get together a few guides. So just giving them the information of how to actually work on just purely the online version itself.
Yeah.
And then just running it through with them. So like I don't do any Zooms or anything like that, like most PTs probably are doing. So that can be a little bit trickier if you're not used to doing that type of thing. So initially it is a bit more work, but if you kind of set up a system, which is what I did with the guides, and then basically what I did is just chart out my client's journey for the next 30, 60, 90 days. And then once I've got that, I can then implement that for the next person. It makes it easier and easier for me to keep going. But totally. I've not had any complaints from clients. Okay, maybe their adherence has gone down a little bit because I'm not physically there anymore. But generally they kind of get a grip of it, and then they start taking more initiative on it.
Totally, massively. When it comes to marketing, you've done a lot of things. You dominate this Personal Trainers United group. You do a lot of. You put a lot of great articles on them. You do a lot of great information. There's a lot of information comes through all the time. My first question is always like, where do you get all this information from? I mean, is it just going spilling out of the brain through the fingertips and onto the keyboard? I mean, literally, it's when it comes to that delivering information on a regular basis, consistency is the key about creating awareness. How do you do it?
It's just discipline. It's like for example, if you're talking about PTs in general, they're very disciplined with going to the gym. Like there's no issue for a PT to go to the gym. But they all want to do things like social media content and post things out. But the problem is most of the time they just don't make time for it. So it's the same as the way they always tell their clients, oh, you have to make time for the gym, or you have to make time to prepare meals or whatever. It's the exact same advice. They need to look at themselves in the mirror and do that. So that's the only difference between someone like me who does it on a consistent, regular basis and someone who only does it once a week or once every month or whatever it is. They have like short bursts. So honestly, like normally what I do is I'll sit down day and a time, usually on a Saturday or Sunday, get out all the information that I want to, and then post it up. So whatever you see on the UAE PT Unite group is just stuff that I do as like it's spare time stuff. I've not always been consistent with that, but like if you look at my other social media contents, especially another Facebook group that I run for my clients and prospective clients, that's just constantly ticking over with content. And then the same with Empiric. If you look at Empiric, there's at least 2 posts going out a day and a story a day. So awesome. So it just requires discipline more than anything.
Man, okay. It's so funny that word discipline comes out in so many facets of life, right? I tell you what,
it does, mate.
It's like, man, this is here. Something I could probably work on a little bit better myself, to be sharp and honest. Anyway, let's move on from that one. What's one of the biggest words of advice you'd give to trainers now, especially with the UAE in this region, when it is about them either continuing their training for their clients or developing their businesses?
That's a good question. I think basically I think with PTs is the biggest issue, especially myself, that I found when I first started out is be very clear on what you're doing and then just focus on that. So I feel like PTs, they always kind of get a little bit here, there, everywhere. So they'll do like maybe a couple of group classes, then they'll do one-on-one PT, then they'll do online, and they'll end up basically their mind is in three or four different places when if you just kind of narrow your focus and focus on one thing at a time, get that sorted and then move on to the next thing. But keeping that discipline behind it as well is one key thing. Yeah, it's coming up again. So, but also one thing I will add on top of that is also learn some business skills, some marketing skills. Don't just learn fitness. I think that's a big downside to PTs. It was definitely my downfall in the first 4 years I was a PT.
Yeah, that's all. I have to absolutely agree with that. I'm the same with my downfall. Great at fitness, very physical, did the whole thing, can out coach like anything, but when it came to marketing,
Exactly, yeah. But unfortunately, marketing is our lifeblood. You can't have a business without some new clients coming in all the time. So,
massively. As
much as like PTs might not like marketing or sales, it's part of the job.
Yeah, massively, 100%. Guys, girls, thank you again for joining us. But we're going to come back after this short break. We're going to talk about just the mental issues they're going through as a trainer or as a client that people are facing during this pandemic. We're going to talk about that. So leave your comments, leave your questions in the comment section, and we'll come back very shortly. Hey guys, girls, welcome back to Fitness TV with Fine Fit People. Today we're talking with Liam Hagen from down Abu Dhabi. He's an experienced trainer and he's done some really, really cool things with his marketing, his advertising, his awareness that he builds with people here and here around the region. He shares a lot of the information via the UAE Personal Trainers Unite group. Lots of information on there, so jump on that Facebook group and for sure check out the information he's providing because it's golden nuggets all the way through. What we're going to talk about, guys and girls, in this one is just more about that fitness, health, and mental health relationship from trainers and clients. And we'll get Liam in here to give his thoughts and feedback on that as well. Mate, I want to start off with this one here. Let's go from the personal trainer's perspective and the mental health issues you think they've been facing and maybe quickly along that solution.
So you're talking about in terms of the general terms of current climate or just in general?
Let's go more in general. Maybe we can go something more specifically up there with the trainers. Yeah, a good example being is that with obviously financials is a big issue that a lot of people are having. Yeah. Clients maintain their client base to at least hit those essential financial commitments that people have, and also outside of that is when they have lost their job, is being able to market themselves or create awareness about they're available in the market, and the fight they're having to go through to get a new job, the sacrifices that need to be made for a lot of trainers at the moment that are going out there, that are applying for jobs, but because of the salaries are now so much lower, or the wages are so much lower, or what they cost per class or per session, a lot of them I find they're not offering the same or unable to receive the same payment.
Okay, cool. So I'll say something along that, what you're talking about the cost there. I don't think any gym, any PT, or any fitness professional should be dropping the price. If anything now, you're looking at the current climate and health is more important than ever COVID has proved that. So obviously it's going to be a little bit harder to get people in, but they're going to be valuing their health a lot more. So I don't see why you should be dropping your price. I've actually upped my price of my services throughout this thing. So I don't see why you should be dropping the prices at all. And if you drop your prices, then that means you need more clients. That means you're going to get more stress, more headaches, and then your mental health is going to go down. So I don't see the point in it.
Yeah, totally. It's great. You've got to wrap that up into one little ball quite nicely. It's true. I totally agree with that. You shouldn't drop your prices of what you're doing, because at the end of the day, let's quickly jump off topic there for a little bit. And I suppose the word of advice for people there has been that your value is still your value. You know, when people take on a personal trainer or they take on your services, they're paying for the value of your service. You know, people go like, oh, it's only 1 hour long or something like that. Well, they're still paying for you, your education, your experience, your ability to be able to deliver a coach, and your ability to be able to deliver results. That's what they're essentially paying for. And like Liam just pointed out, and I think I agree with you, mate, is that, more than ever, people's health, or the awareness of people's health, has come out to the forefront, especially with so much awareness about strengthening your immune system.
Yeah, exactly. And look at what you were just talking about. Look at the result that they get from using that service. Can you think of another service where if you exchange money, you will get healthier? There isn't many services that I can think of that do that. Basically, you're investing in your health to prevent yourself going to the hospital, basically, or prolonging your life. What value do you have? What value could you put on top of that?
Totally. It's actually along that point as well, when we talk about the value of it, and a lot of people go like, oh, that's expensive. I mean, people go to the doctors, same reason. It's the whole, they want to be cured from the sickness they've got or whatever they're having. What I want to hear is that with that as well, that a lot of people don't or didn't tend to think about precaution being the cure or prevention being the cure. They were more thinking, oh, it happened, and then they make these changes. What's something that you've noticed with COVID-19 having the effect, the mindset of clientele? Do you see it dramatically change? Have you seen it slightly change? Do you not see it change at all when the people thinking, I want to get fitter, I want to get healthier?
So I would say it depends on where in the world that they are. So like, for example, back home in the UK, some people have changed their mentality towards prevention, but a lot of them aren't taking it that serious, as you can see from their stats and stuff. Whereas like if you look at UAE, where they're a bit more stricter on what's going on and the regulations and restrictions around it, it does seem to be that it is influencing them, and they're being more, I forgot the word, more preemptive with their health rather than reactive.
Yeah, totally.
That's the right word.
What do you think it takes to make that change?
That's a good question. I think it's going to be a hard one because naturally humans are reactive, not proactive.
Yeah.
But I think, the one thing that you have to understand about humans is they will act on more of a fear or negative kind of influence rather than positive. That's why you'll see like a lot of supplement companies or any kind of dodgy looking companies, they always try and play on your fear a lot because it works in their marketing. So if you can kind of do that, especially as a personal trainer, in the right kind of way, then you probably influence a lot more people than trying to focus on the positives, because that's just human nature, unfortunately.
Massively. What about from a change of perspective from when clients are looking for healthier options? And you're right, let's say there's ones that are being proactive, they want to get out there, they want to make sure they get a strong immune system, they live a healthier lifestyle, they prolong their life, and they live better lifestyles. What do you think people are leaning towards currently now? Is that phase of, I want to do more online training, I just want to do my own stuff where I get outside, doing more activity? Is it that maybe they're even gone to this space of, I was fearful and now I'm not worried about it anymore, I'm just going to keep going back to my old lifestyle?
Yeah, so for me, for the people that I speak to in my kind of network, it seems to be a whole mixture of the above. But it does seem to be a lot of people kind of itching to get out. Yeah. So I would probably lean towards that. a lot of people were quite happy to go back to the gym as long as they felt that their gym was safe.
Yep.
So, and also I've got a few friends that own a few gyms around here in UAE as well. So, I think people are itching to get out because obviously it's been a long time that we've had to be quite a lot of time at home. So if you can basically show the precautions that you're taking and make it as safe as possible for the clients, you're going to get a lot more clients coming in. Yeah, it just seems to be they all want to get out.
Yeah, totally. Break free. So you're 100% right on that one. Mate, what's where's the best way to get a hold of you? What's your call to contact?
Usually Facebook. Facebook's the big one for me. If you want to hit up my personal profile, the one thing I will say is, if you look at wait, hang on, which hand? This hand. Somewhere in my name. Anyway, it's a second A, not an E.
Sorry.
And my surname is a Ohagan, not En.
Oh,
so if you look for that,
we'll talk to the graphic designers afterwards. On that side of things.
Yeah. So if you search for me on Facebook, there's not many Liam O'Hagans around in the world, so you should find me. If you're a PT, come join the UAE Personal Trainers Unite. I like the change that just happened there.
That was awesome. Brilliant, man. Thank you very much for joining us today. Brilliant to talk to you, get your insights about things that are going on around the world and locally, especially here in health and fitness. Always a pleasure. But yeah, keep up the good work with the information you're putting on the United Personal oh my gosh, UAE Personal Trainers Unite. Mate, you passed it on.
I know, yeah.
UAE Personal Trainers Unite. Check that out. The information he puts on there, it's happening daily. It's really great information. It sparks the light within you to think of certain things that are happening either with yourself or with other things that are happening within the health and fitness realm. So again, also, check your comments, questions, share your thoughts on the comment sections in either Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. But my man, it is the weekend. It's Friday here in the UAE, which means time off, mate? We get the time to go and
Just mate.
We can party or we can sit on the couch.
I'm gonna go back to bed.
So, man. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon, man. Anybody else? Take care.
You too, mate. Take care.
We've all been there, hours searching the internet, asking friend upon friend, making call after call, trying to find the right fitness professional, health specialist, or sports coach. So much time, energy, and even money spent only to find more problems than solutions. Well, now, with the Find Fit People platform, you can find all the available professionals with the skills you need in an instant. We've removed all the barriers by establishing a community of many different skilled health specialists, sports coaches, and fitness professionals that are alerted immediately once you posted your request. In under 30 seconds, you can attract multiple professionals with the right skills to help you achieve the result you want. It's simple, fast, and free. Find us online at www.findfitpeople.com or download the Find Fit People app from Apple or Google Play stores so you can find fit people today.